Hello. Why didn't you full screen this, sir?
I can, of course. Everybody can look right up your nostrils. Wait a minute. Let me get this. How do I get you? See, it does me, but it won't do you. What the hell?
Anyway.
How do I do that?
Hey.
I can't.
Right.
I can't get you to go on. I tried double clicking it.
That's okay. No, some people
What's
are
this do?
incapable.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Faz Radio. Put me back on this. Thank you.
There we go.
Welcome to Faz Radio, people. We are here to talk about stuff and things. Today's episode of Stuff and Things, Titan is actually going to be nice to Gala Games.
I'm always nice to Gala Games. I'm just not celebratory all the time.
Well, I'm not celebratory all the time. It's just that when people ask me about Gala Games stuff, I simply give their point of view or give a point of view that might not be pessimistic, and all of a sudden I'm an apologist, and of course I'm, my nose up their butt and stuff like that. I don't do the celebratory thing either.
When they do good things, I want to talk about the good things. When they do not good things, I want to talk about the not good things. So this week, in my opinion, it may be shared by you, it may not be shared by you, and everybody listening, some will love what I have to say, some will hate what I have to say, but I'm going to call it as I see it, right? And you call it as you see it, and that's where we differ sometimes, is in that opinion of what we find good and not good. 95% of this week, I think, was excellent. Have you been following this week?
Sort of. I
sort of.
Still have some things going on, some stuff, and things of my own, which is why I'm not on my laptop yet with the background that I usually have. But
it's all right. So it started out this week
with the Gala V2 stuff, right?
With the Gala V2 drop, right? And call it an airdrop, call it a swap, call it a whatever you want to call it. Quite honestly, I do believe for the first time in history that I can remember, which is like, what, 2.5 years, I did not find a problem, an issue, or anything with how this came off. It appears to have executed absolutely perfectly. So to me, that is a ginormous win, and they really needed a win here. So that I was nervous, man. I was really nervous because I know that there were a lot of people that had a lot of Gala in a lot of different places. Oh, hey, Zorro, I just saw you pop in there. We were talking about Faz copying your Gala scooter in the green room. Go back and check it out. He got a Zorro scooter.
I posted a tweet while we were in the green room.
All right, good.
You saw it.
So it was a ginormous win in my opinion. Now, there are people, I'm sure, that had their stuff left on Coinbase. They're SOL at this point. There was people probably in liquidity pools. They're SOL at this point. And there was chitter chatter in various places today that apparently V1 is not dead yet. People were taking their V1 to Uniswap and selling it. Now, not at full price, of course, but in some cases close to it. Because obviously it doesn't shut off.
Let's talk about the tax implications of this, okay?
I was going to get there. That's actually where I was going to go next. But go ahead, knock yourself out.
Last I checked, and I'm not a tax professional, if, I don't know, maybe you have $100 in Gala, and then they do the airdrop of Gala V2, and you say, oh, no, this Gala V2, this is actually the same Gala, but they've improved the coin, so the old coin is now worth nothing. This is an upgrade. You likely have room to say, I was not given an airdrop, but I just have the same $100. However, if you touch that old Gala, once you have told people, the tax people, that, hey, this is old and dead and whatever, and now I got my new Gala and that's the actual Gala, now it becomes an airdrop. So I don't know, well, because you're claiming both, you're using both. So, I mean, they're like two separate theories. One is your coin has been upgraded. The other one is you've been given a second coin. And you can't claim both. So whoever's doing that, hopefully they're aware of the consequences. You can't have your cake and eat it too. They will they will find you. The tax people will.
Well,
And
you can have it both ways. You
and they're
just
like,
might get busted.
and they're they would basically be saying, okay, well, your old coin is worth less, but you just got $100 airdrop. So then you'd be taxed on that $100 airdrop while you sold the old coin.
So there was a conversation in a different Discord where some great theories were put out, and there was some IRS documents that were viewable. And of course, we know that those are subject to interpretation because they're vague as fuck, right? But the way that the IRS is going to approach things, I think, this is my opinion, I think they're going to approach it on whatever they can get the most tax on. So I think you're going to end up paying tax on both. So
wait, so you're saying you think that if you had $100 of Gala, you got an airdrop, and that airdrop was worth $100, that you have $200 now. It's just that one of them has become worth a lot less.
Yes, because they didn't upgrade the token. They changed the token contract and address. If they were to upgrade the token, that's completely different. That after doing my research and then reading what some of the various Discords, not just one, I've looked at 4 different Discords today and gathered up information, and I also did some of my own poking around at IRS and on the wonderful interwebs. And my guess is that it's going to be treated as a double taxation because the IRS will consider it 2 different coins.
Well, that sucks.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't get paid to do people's taxes. I am not an accountant either. Just from reading and interpreting, and remember, we argue about this all the time, interpreting what you're reading. And what I read from the IRS, they even put 2 examples in one of these documents for what is an airdrop. They kind of sort of roundaboutishly talk about an airdrop, but they don't define it. And they say, here's 2 scenarios and how we would look at it from these scenarios. And it seems to be that they're looking at it as 2 different things.
Well,
because the old coin didn't go away. That seems to be the linchpin in this.
How would the old coin go away?
How did AquaGoat go away? Do you remember?
I don't recall.
They closed the contract. I don't know if Gala closed their contract. And I don't know if that's even still a thing. This AquaGoat was what, like 2 years ago?
I think people need to ask Gala what the fuck they plan to do with that old coin.
Because well, they said it was dead, but I don't know. See, this is where the people smarter than us chime in, because I don't know how those contracts work like that. If you push a button and lock it and close it, if that's even possible. I mean, I don't know how that works. This is the second time I've been through a token that just, I don't know, like okay. Your favorite Dig on Me, Black Eye Galaxy, that was just abandoned. Okay, and it's still out there. You can go buy Black Eye. There's probably no liquidity, but the contract is still considered active, whereas AquaGoats is a dead contract. They did something and locked it.
So my thought, I'm kind of basing on what they did with BCH. or Bitcoin upgrading. So if Bitcoin right now comes up with an upgrading, and I believe this is on their very page, if Bitcoin upgraded, you're not
define that though.
Okay, so
because if it's
hold
a fork, it's
okay,
considered a new coin.
Hold on. So if you have one Bitcoin and the Bitcoin forks, there's a difference between if Bitcoin forks and is still named Bitcoin, is considered Bitcoin, or Bitcoin forks and is now called Bitcoin Cash. If it forks and becomes Bitcoin Cash, then I believe the Bitcoin Cash becomes the airdrop. If it forks and it's just a newer, updated version of Bitcoin, my 2 cents or my reading of it is no. And I'm not a tax professional. Is that no? It's you're not given an airdrop, but you can't touch the old one ever again, because if you do, you're kind of claiming it. You're saying so. So I have I have like 100 Gala, and if I was given another 100 Gala, and I as long as I what the hell? Hold on.
So, you all right there?
Sorry, I had to shut something up. Okay.
Oh no.
So if you're given 100 Gala and you still do something with the old Gala, you're kind of recognizing, hey, the old Gala is actually still real and still useful. But if you just use the new one and don't do anything with the old one, you're not recognizing that the old one still exists. That's my 2 cents on it, and that's what I thought how they handle Bitcoin forks. Because otherwise, every time Bitcoin forks, you're going to get Bitcoin again at that value. So if you have one Bitcoin and it forks, you're gonna you're just gonna have 2 Bitcoin, and then if it forks, you're gonna have 3, and then you're gonna have 4. No, they're all different.
You'll recognize the gain on that. Yeah, you will. So why wouldn't people recognize the gain?
No, you wouldn't, because it would be the same coin.
The IRS document says if you profit in any manner.
Exactly. If you profit in any manner, that would be for if you do things with both of those coins, then you're profiting. But if you're doing something with the upgraded coin, you've been left the same. You haven't touched the old coin. You're not going to touch the old coin. So I wouldn't want to touch that old coin if I was me, because I have some Gala.
If it goes to 0 and you sell it, your cost basis when you got it was 3 cents. Can you realize the loss?
I would suggest that no, you could not. I would suggest that no, you couldn't realize the loss. Personally, I'm not a tax professional, but you couldn't realize the loss on the old coin. You can't realize the loss on the old coin and claim the new coin.
I think you're going to get hit with both. That's my guess.
That doesn't seem right even, but
doesn't matter. The IRS wants money. They don't care how they get it.
What I'd like to hear though is what Gala Games is going to do with that old coin. Can they close the contract? Can they affect that contract? I'm thinking no. Otherwise, they would have upgraded that very same contract, right?
No, it was written so it couldn't be upgraded.
So then they can't close the contract.
But they did do a burn, right? So I don't know.
They did a burn on the new coin, not the old.
Was it the new? I thought it was the old. I thought it happened before.
No, they didn't do it on the old.
No? Okay.
Well, I don't know. Effectively the new one.
Maybe I read that wrong then. If it's the new one, that's great too.
But like I said, I think Gala Games needs to at least say what they're doing with the old coin. If they can't do anything with it, they're not recognizing it, they're not using it, whatever. Again,
yeah, they did say that.
Right, they're not recognizing they're not using it, then it's defunct.
Yeah,
it's dead. And if people want to profit on it, great. But if they have the new Gala 2, well, then I think they're going to get taxed on both. I think you're fine as long as you don't fuck with the old Gala. But that's my non-tax thing, my non-tax opinion. Ask the tax person.
Yes, Zorro. The token is still there. People were trading it on Uni today from posts of people that I saw writing things. And apparently it's extraordinarily volatile. duh. But somebody was saying that somebody dropped ETH in there for the liquidity. So they're keeping it around to trade it, I guess. I don't know. But regardless of which way you go or what you think about the taxes, this contract upgrade was done at a time that I think it probably should have been done if they were going to do something with it. And what I mean by that is before multiple games are released, before a music token is released, that's a whole nother conversation, of course. But before, they're on 3 platforms with it, and there's all kinds of stuff out there. So I think that's a very good thing, too, that they got it over with and done for. So that's 2 things I think that they've done right. The more I read into it, the more I listened and watched what people were saying that are hella smarter than I am, it's probably a good thing they did it now. Moving on, what are you doing?
I'm looking up forks on the IRS website.
Oh, my God. So, moving on to further events of the week, they had the Gala burn, right? Yeah, I guess maybe that was after they did that. Zorro says BitTrue still has the old token trading like crazy amounts. You got to go to BitTrue and do some trading, man. Maybe you can make $1 million trading the old token over on BitTrue. And then you'll get your profits in B-Gala.
Yeah, I still have B-Gala, so I can't trade it.
So this token burn, all right? I have screenshots. The funny part is I have screenshots of a lot of those green names saying we will never, ever, ever do a burn. Don't even talk about it. It's pointless. Not happening. Sorry. No way, no how. And looky. Oh, CryptoView. He said, XLM to the moon. Yes, Stellar straight to the moon, CryptoView. I think $660 million going up in flames like that was a really good idea. Not maybe for the reasons that people think. While the narrative is out, and they said, hey, we did this for the community and it'll help with halvings and all this. I do think that things on the Gala platform having there was like 40 billion tokens or something that were out there. That was way too many for the platform right now. So I think paring that down is a very good idea. I think it'll help in the long run as well as in the short term. With the new schedule for the nodes and creating more, I think with the mechanisms they've put in place, I don't agree with a few of them about the burning for gems and so forth, because we're not sure how gems are going to work yet, how that whole thing is going to come out and how it's circular in the economy. I read the paper, but I'm not sure about that yet, so I'm not going to comment on that. I would sound like an idiot because I don't know enough about it, right? But I think getting that burn out of the way and giving the token the ability to compete in the Gala platform, and it'll depend on what they do going forward with its utility, right? Is it just going to be a payment token? Is it going to be, they promised it would be across all Gala platforms, but yet they're creating a music token, maybe a film token. It'll be the gas on, the Jiri network. I don't know. I don't know if that's enough. But one theory that I had was that it seems like the way they're setting this up, especially with the circular gem economy, that there's going to be far more pressure to buy it and spend it and basically put it back into the ecosystem than there is going to be to trade it. You have your honor system. I'm sure there's different types of honor systems. They can use gems as an honor system too, because once you get a gem, you can't convert it back into a token, right? Yep. So people will not be able to, well, I shouldn't say wouldn't be able to. They would have a higher or a big problem getting Gala back out, okay? It would just be used to buy and then dump back into Gala. I came up on the fly with an idea. We talked about it briefly, very briefly, a long time ago. Instead of, and we talked about it, Glitch and I, last week, why not use gems as the way to test economies, right? And if you, instead of using real tokens, right, you go into this Spider Tanks economy, you go into this Town Star economy, and they're going to try something new. They're experimental. We've talked about that into the ground, right? Why not use something like gems and then give a reward based on people's use of gems at the end of whatever it is? That way, you know, you spend $100 to get 1,000,000 gems. They fuck around with the economy. They try different things. If you lose your gems, you're out $100, not $10,000, right? So if they work that, and then at the end of whatever they're doing to get the economy, they roll the real economy out, and you're sitting on 5 million gems. They say, okay, 5 million gems is worth a 10,000 Gala, and they then give you the 10,000 Gala. That way, it protects the people who are playing. It gives Gala a chance to screw around with the economy till they're blue in the face, and people aren't losing their ass in the process. It's a win-win all the way around. Maybe, just maybe, that could be a carrot. See, because there's a lot of sticks in the platform right now with the whole economy part of it. So if you introduce some carrots along with the sticks of equal size, that'll help. And in the meantime, people don't get wrecked. They can focus on the game and playing the game and learning the economy and giving feedback on the economy in a pure manner without financial interests or money or greed or fear of loss or actual loss happening. I think that would be a fantastic way to approach it.
Yeah, I could see that.
I just talked for like 10 minutes and you're like, yeah. Kill me, man. You absolutely kill me sometimes. All right, so
you stopped me talking about taxes to talk about that. So
well, we've gotten feedback that people fall asleep, and our producer even fell asleep that day. We talked about regulation of taxes.
I know. Taxes is very boring.
So we'll get the good stuff out about the taxes, and then we'll move on quickly before people fall asleep. And speaking of economies and money, we have another big event that took place just yesterday. Gala had decided to sever ties with one of their longtime content creators. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's about time. He's been doing these pump 'em up kind of videos for a long time. He's been skirting the edges, and well, we've done an episode or two on him, the kind of bullshit, stuff that he does, where he's really pumping the coin, hyping up the coin. And it's about time that Gala actually took some responsibility and went after him.
You had been poking at them for a long time, and I had started I shouldn't say a conversation. I posted a tweet and kind of called out the economy. Everything I see is about ROI and making money and everything else. And I did kind of call out Gala a little bit on that and said, hey, take the leadership position. Is this really the content that you want out there, or do you want games? I said, in the Discord servers, you tap people on the forehead with a tack hammer when they bring that stuff up, but people out in the wild here can do it, and you endorse it and you sponsor it. So it is a problem, and I am not, as we all know very well, I am not a Gala fanboy, right? I'm a supporter of the system. I want to see what they're going to do. I'm here to maybe have some fun. If I make money, great. I've already got my stuff out of Gala, so I'm not financially induced anymore at this point. But it's to a point now where all they're doing is attracting the people seeking the return on the investment. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of return on investment moving forward. I don't think that people are wanting to have that in the gaming ecosystem. And some of the big things that I'm seeing on Twitter, reading like all these people talking about it, is they're saying things like, oh, well, then it's no different than traditional gaming. You're right. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be just like traditional gaming. The problem is, the reason the money's the factor is because the blockchain games are not the same quality as traditional gaming. They're far lower quality. All right? So
why would you say that?
All right, so put up a Fortnite against any of these blockchain games out there. What
about the new Pac-Man games that come out? What about the new low resolution games that are fun, like Crossy Road and stuff like that? What grounds are you saying that they're lower quality?
Most of them are still in test phase. The ones that aren't in test phase,
well, then they're not out yet.
Okay, so they're not the same quality as what's out there in traditional gaming. Blockchain gaming and traditional gaming are exactly the same thing. Okay? Inherently they are. The difference, the biggest difference, is that you have the ability to own assets. And we've had that discussion. I don't believe you own anything, and we've argued about it ad nauseum. But in theory, you can take your game pieces and go home if you want. You can trade them a lot easier than you can in a traditional space. You can do things that you cannot do because of the blockchain element that you can't do in traditional gaming. There's a few extra features. That's really all it is a few extra features. So many people, because they've been caught up in this earning thing, and everybody comes out with the earning, the axes. Everywhere you go, they don't consider it a blockchain game unless there's earnings. Well, the earnings is the problem because they're truly not earnings. People are expecting, because of the bull run, to get rich off of this, and it's not going to happen. Everybody thought, oh, I'm going to be a full-time stay-at-home gamer and make $100,000 a year, and that's just not the case. And people quickly realized that was the case. So now everybody's anti, blockchain gaming and bitching about earnings.
I'm still stuck where you're calling blockchain gaming lower quality. I think that this gaming space is brand new and not very developed. So while you can technically say you're correct with the lower quality, it's always been about the blockchain area hasn't started up yet. So I wouldn't say that the blockchain gaming is a big problem. You could make any high quality game into a blockchain game. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't happened.
It's not there yet. Right. I didn't say it wasn't going to stay low quality. I'm just saying right now, if you compare the quality of traditional gaming versus what they
Yeah,
have
but
for blockchain gaming,
Demology
it's
has a
not the
good
same
point.
experience.
Demology has a good point. You're comparing a new space with an existing space, and the existing space at an earlier level was low quality too, was crappy, as you would say. So, not only that, the games that they're threatening to put out, pretty much purport to be pretty high quality. Like Mirandus is purported to be high quality. The way that
I've heard
it's
some
going to
good
be
things
good.
about people playing that. They said it's
But
kick ass in there.
but I think you're using a wrong measure. It's like I don't know. It's like comparing the Tesla, which is the Tesla truck, which isn't out yet, to a current truck, and you could say, well, the Tesla truck isn't very high quality because it's not out yet.
Okay, so then what do you think the difference is between traditional gaming and blockchain gaming?
Blockchain gaming is an area that's just started out, so it's not ready yet. Say that.
No. What's the difference of a game that, let's assume for a moment.
We do this every week, and it's like I have to reteach you all over again.
No, you're
A
not
game,
teaching me anything.
Okay.
Listen.
I'll teach everyone.
You take, let's assume for a moment, you could take Fortnite, okay, in its current quality, its current revision, playability, all of that, and drop it onto blockchain, and it instantly works just like regular traditional Fortnite, right? What is the difference between the two?
Well, dropping it on the blockchain. We talked about this the very last episode that I was on.
No, we didn't.
Dropping it on the blockchain would assume that items in Fortnite could be purchased as NFTs, and those items would be owned by you, and would not be owned by the server or by the company, the Fortnite company, but you. So it really depends on how you drop it onto the blockchain. But
we're not getting into technicals. Very high level here.
I'm not getting into technicals.
What is the difference in the two gaming experiences?
Okay, that's like saying if you were to take a 2022 Chevy Silverado and drop it in the water, how good of a boat would it be? You'd say, well, that depends. So I'm going to give you the same answer. It depends. I can tell you this 2022 Silverado would sink like a fucking brick. So it's not going to be a good boat. But if you could say, well, just assume that it floats, well, then you'd say, well, then how does it propel itself? Well, just like a boat.
You're going
okay, well, then
so
how would that
far
work?
off the edge here.
So no,
if you had to
same
compare...
deal. You're comparing something that you're not defining to something that's already well defined. I would say that blockchain gaming is in an early state and it has a lot of potential and promise. That's as far as you can go. But by saying that blockchain gaming is lower quality, I disagree with that.
So there would be no difference other than owning an NFT.
No, there'd be more. It
Like
depends on how it's implemented. Again, it depends. I was just giving an example. I was giving an example. What if they don't want to implement NFTs at all? What if they just want to use a cryptocurrency and leave all the other stuff owned by the server? There's so many.
So adding financials. There you go. So the difference is you add financials to it.
You don't have to. You could do it on the blockchain without financials at all. You could do it on the blockchain without financials at all. See, that again, that's the thing that you're leaving out is the implementation. Let's take a Silverado and dump it in the water and make it act as a boat. Just assume that it floats and it moves like a boat. Okay, what kind of boat? A tugboat? A speedboat? What kind of boat does it move like?
So I dragged us a little bit off course as I usually do. And we were talking about the content creators, right? So I think that was a very bold, very good move for Gala as well. And it's not like Jake is banned from doing Miranda's videos. He's simply just not sponsored by Gala anymore.
Yep.
He can make his Miranda's videos. He can make his play videos. He can talk about ROI all day long. But he just can't be sponsored by Gala to do that. That's the only difference there. And I think that moving forward in this space, not just Gala, but anybody out there, if you're sponsored, you should be disclosing it in every single thing that you release,
Well,
right?
that's what YouTube says you need to do. So
Yeah, but nobody does it, right? People, and they'll use interesting monikers. For this set of things that I'm doing, I'm acting on my own, and I'm not. This is not sponsored content. Well, no, this one isn't, but you're still getting paid by them.
so
But this
that's kind of
video
interesting.
isn't.
Well, wait a minute. That's kind of interesting because I spoke in certain hidden rooms, hidden channels, to Gala and about Gala's sponsoring of Jake, and the response that I got from people both in the know and people who were concerned, or people that had to deal with that said, "Well, Gala's not sponsoring everything; they're sponsoring certain things."
Right.
So, by the same token, Gala's already trying to say they don't sponsor some things, they sponsor others. But now they're saying we're going to drop, we're not going to be your sponsor at all because apparently, others matter.
Well, I do think the hypocrisy there was quite high, and I'm glad that they took the stand. They would out of this side in Discord. Oops, sorry, I'm not on camera there. On this side, they would talk in Discord. We don't talk about ROI. You're going to get banned if you talk ROI. And then over on this side, they'll pay a content creator to have, I earned $70 million in Townstar yesterday, and not say a word, right? And not call them out for that kind of stuff.
And then when you ask them, they say, well, we don't sponsor that content. We sponsor this content.
Yeah, so I'm glad those days are over. And I'm not, I'm not just talking Gala, and I'm not just talking Jake. I'm talking overall in this whole space, because there's people that are, sponsored by, Hey Joe's video game company that's promoting the new blockchain game that they're doing. And so I'm glad that they had the guts to do what they did. And I'd like to see them lead the space, grabbing content creators that are going to promote the gameplay, the how-to videos, the how to onboard to their platform videos. We talked about that with Bitbender when he was on. You've got to, I think they should get a big program going that's an educational series on how to work a wallet, how to work all that stuff to help people feel more at ease. And they've got to make the onboarding process seamless and quick and instant. And 10 seconds after you jump onto the platform, you're playing a game or interacting with cool people. The experience is what's going to bring them there. And right now it's old, it's slow, it's clunky. I think they're moving in that direction. That with the Gala Music platform launch, they've come out with the MetaMask login, and that platform is beautiful over there. And I'm hoping they're going to bring that over to the games side too.
All right.
So I think I totally love that they did that too. Now, I feel bad for Jake. I mean, that was income for him, right? That's what he does for a living. I do feel bad for that. But they warned him at the same time, right? They told him.
Well, I have a problem that Jake was trying to somehow say one thing and do another, but I don't know.
I'm not going to get into the he said, she said. There's people out there that accused him of dumping Miranda's at some point. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and I don't want to get into any of that. That's stupid. That's counterproductive to what we do here. And I'm not going to personally attack anybody, right? Everybody does what they do. The blockchain's there. Anybody can go look and see what happened, whatever. I don't care about that. What I care about is that A, Gala stood up for something finally, and B, it's presented in a method to try and clean the space up, to clean themselves up, and say we're not doing ROI, so we're not doing ROI in any fashion. And I think that was fantastic. I do. And I've gotten a lot of people that disagree with me on that, but hey, that's the way I see it. I think that's good for the gamers. I think that's good for the community. And those who want to watch those videos can make videos. And people can make videos about gameplay all day long. And if people want to make ROI videos, that's fine. They're just not going to get paid for them. That's all there is to it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to get going soon. So do we have some more stuff to talk about?
Well, so I had said that 95% of what Gala did was a celebration. The other 5% that I wasn't a fan of is what a lot of people had a problem with, was the communication of Gala recommitting to the community.
Did we talk about the burn stuff yet?
We did, yeah. You obviously weren't paying attention.
No. The question I had about the burn stuff was, did they burn all of their personal Gala or some of it, of the new stuff?
The way it was presented is, he said they burned an amount equivalent to or equal to everything they sold on the Gala platform to date, which turned out to be $660 million.
Well, I was wondering if they said that they had Gala in their personal wallets.
They did not say anything about their personal wallets.
Because
that was the Gala treasury that they burned.
Okay. See, the reason I'm wondering that I wanted to go back through this. That's why I got a little bit derailed. I don't know if Gala V2 is considered a hard fork, or if it's just considered a new cryptocurrency altogether. If it's a hard fork or a new cryptocurrency, then you got to pay on everything you got.
That's some of the documents I was reading, and that's why I said, because it's a new contract address, I'm pretty sure, my opinion of reading that is that it's a separate token. Maybe I'm wrong too. I don't know.
No, well, I'm reading on the IRS website. One of my cryptocurrencies went through a hard fork followed by an airdrop, and I received new cryptocurrency. Do I have income? Answer: if a hard fork is followed by an airdrop and you receive new cryptocurrency, you will have taxable income in the taxable year you receive that cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Period.
But we were talking about the old token, if it's going to be taxable. Does it say anything about that on what you're reading?
Well, the old token wouldn't be taxable because you haven't received anything new. The new thing would be the new token.
Right.
So if you had $100 in Gala beforehand, well, then that's dropped like a rock. And if you have received $100 in new Gala, you're going to pay taxes on that, according to the IRS's website.
Right.
So the reason I was asking about the burn is, if all the employees of Gala received new Gala, that's new taxable income. So say they had, a billion Gala, like some of those people have, they've just received a whole lot of money that they need to pay taxes on.
Well, I think for those of us who do the wallet tracking and so forth, you would just probably have to pull up the wallets. And at that point, we'd be able to see if they sold out of their personal accounts before the airdrop or after the airdrop, or not at all. That's an easy way to do it.
And then the question would be, did they buy it back afterwards?
Well, right. I don't know. I have not dug into that yet. I haven't.
So that's something I'd be interested in seeing is what they did with their personal accounts, because otherwise they received some of those big whales have just received a shitload of extra money.
It's possible, yeah. They probably have better accountants than we would ever have.
And the burn makes me wonder. I mean, if you received a shitload of money and then you burned it, well, that still doesn't matter. You still received the money.
I don't know. But it apparently was the Gala Treasury. Everything they took in on sales is the way it was projected.
All right.
Cool.
Anyway, so you're saying.
So, yeah, I was saying, getting back to my train of thought, the phrasing of recommitting and our buddy Forged in Crypto called it out right on Twitter to Benefactor when he said that, and he says, recommitting, that sounds like you were committed, then you weren't committed, and now you're committed again. And so that sent a not such a great message. It probably wasn't meant in that fashion. My guess is that it just ended up being received that way. But I didn't like that, because they shouldn't have had to recommit to anything. They should have just been committed all the way along. That's my only gripe. I have 95% love for Gala this week and what they've done. And we'll see if they continue it. At the beginning of the year, when Bitbender came out and announced the new Gala, the new year, new Gala, right? It lasted all of, 2 months, 2 weeks, something like that. And then it was back to the old ways. So the trust still isn't there for a lot of people. For some, maybe they have had trust the whole time. Great. If that's you, enjoy it. Rock with it. But I think a lot of the community is going to just kind of sit back and wait and see what happens. And if they continue this, and again, it's back to 2023 is the year of show me. So let's see what they deliver. They've done a fantastic job so far in the month of May. So I really, really hope that they keep that trend up. I think they can turn it into that original vision that you and I experienced all the way back at the beginning. I wasn't there for the first 6 months or so, but it was even better back then. And their vision was fantastic. I hope they get back to that. I really do. And it's up to them on how they do it from here. But very good start this week. Gala is starting out with an A+ going forward. We'll see where they take it. Let's root them on to stay at an A+. What would it take? Just like Benefactor asked, what would it take for you, Faz? And then I'll stop yammering and let you out of here so you can go do your stuff. What would it take from Gala to continue to get an A+ rating from you?
Well, I actually responded to their tweet. I think that they need to continue to be very honest about what they're doing, warts and all. I would love to see. I'd love to see them communicate more with what they're doing, with their plans. I like well, in this last week, are you happy with their communication?
They had
because they've just been telling you of things that they've done, like, okay, we're doing this, we're done.
So yes, I'm happy with the communication because it's been better than it has been in weeks past. I don't like the after part, right? But I do think they did a better job than they normally do of communicating this week. Yes.
Oh, well, it seems that they did a better job to you only because they took some very concrete actions, and then they let you know about those concrete actions. But you considered it in the past where they weren't doing a good job when they had stuff that was upcoming that just didn't come out, and then they didn't give you reasons why they didn't come out. So if anything, you're happy that they communicated about their concrete actions.
No, they communicated their whys behind the whys better. I just told you that. I still have a problem with the after, telling us after. That I still have a problem with. But I do think that the why behind the whys came out very well in their Medium article, in the video they put on YouTube about the recommitment to the community. They communicated. They're keeping an open, transparent wallet with all the Gala earnings going into it now. That's a first. That's opening up transparency a little bit more, right? I think that's a fantastic idea. That's another, check mark in the win column. So they communicated that very well. That's something that I know a lot of people are going to be happy about. So they've improved this week. Let's see if it continues. And yes, the roadmap, opening up that stuff.
This week the communication was easy. It's easy when you take a concrete action to communicate. So I would say, actually, while you're happy with them, I'm like, okay, that's to be expected what they're doing. I'd like them to keep doing this with future plans too.
Right.
I actually want to. So what I'd like to hear is, I'd like to hear them comment on why they've gotten behind on their roadmap. If they're going to put one out, then they're opening things up to introspection. Great. Let's. I'd like to again. I'm back to an FAQ. All I want is a fucking FAQ where they answer common questions, put it on their site, put it on Discord, wherever. But the FAQ is, why did we do this? Why did we do that? And every time something new comes up, they add it to the FAQ.
Do you know how long that FAQ would be?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem: is if they don't do it, you're going to do it, because you're going to be like, oh my God, they promised 67 things, and each one of them are partially through or not done or promised.
Yeah. So right. They need to.
You can answer things generally. You can say, why are some things done and not others? And then they could say, well, conflicting priorities, which is something that Bitbender has said. However, they seem to have wallpapered over some things, like, oh yeah, that. Well, some of those oh yeah, that things were things that were very important to some people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
So I know I've talked with you about this. There was some talk about a weekly show that they were going to do. There was chitter chatter about it here and there. I hope that comes to fruition, because it started with the community asking. They apparently, now I don't spend a lot of time there in Gala Music, but apparently they have a weekly show over there called Top of the Drops or something like that, and they update you on what the hell's going on with Gala Music. And so people were poking at him and saying, hey, why can't you have a Gala Games Top of the Drops kind of thing, so that everybody can go to one place, one video that isn't a mile long with a billion pieces of fragmented information, and just say, what's happened this week? What is going to go on next week? And make it really simple like that. And Bitbender seemed really, really warmed up to that idea. So let's see if that comes to fruition.
Wasn't he going to have his own show?
We can't really talk about that.
Oh.
Because of where it was posted.
Oh, okay.
So edit that part out. Don't pull our DMs into the show.
Okay, I don't know anything about.
Yeah, no. So I do hope they do something like that. Hey, here's what's happened this week. Here's what's happening next week. It's 15 minutes of this week, 15 minutes what's coming for next week, or hey, here's a 5-minute clip on what we have planned for the next quarter or the next month or something like that. 30 minutes, concise, hit it between the eyes news of the past, the present, and the future. That I bet that would satisfy most of the people who are complaining that no information or no communication, and do it.
I want a way to look up their promises and their answers. That's what I want. I want to be able to look up this stuff, because when things happen months later, people are like, whatever happened to that? And they say things like, oh yeah, that. And these things that you bring up, things that are in the Thune list and stuff like that. People want to know answers to those questions. So what would get 100% from me would be to be able to answer any question, warts and all, as to why something didn't happen. And that warts and all could be simply, we didn't have time to do it. We chose this other thing instead.
Good. That's a good way to look at it. Maybe if they put something together, the Gala Newswire, and had some fun with that, I'll bet you they could include something like that in there in a 30-minute show. They can. I mean, we do an hour and we put out a ton of information. An hour is still too long. We probably could do this in 30 minutes, but we spend too much time arguing with each other. So getting that information out is important. Yeah.
Okay.
I know you've got to get out of here. But tomorrow night, we'll be back on as usual. Things are settling down for Faz. That's why he has to go this evening. So hopefully we will have no more missing Faz Radio shows. And we're going to get back on track for what we were talking about at the end of last year about building out Faz Radio a little bit differently. I see lots of good things ahead, man.
All right. Yeah, me too.
Very cool. Let me go find this outro. Our producer is not here tonight, so I have to sort.
You can just do that same intro thing again if you want, the blast
as
one.
the outro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see an outro in here.
Just do the blast intro. That'll work.
Technical difficulties? We didn't have that this week.
Just do the
All
blast
right.
intro.
Blast intro as an outro, because Titan doesn't know what he's doing. Here we go. See you tomorrow, folks.